I just bought my first camera bag. When I first got into photography, the only camera bag that I had was the standard Nikon one that comes with the camera. And when I sold that camera, I was given a low pro bag that was quite small and it didn't fit any of my gear. I never got around to buying a new bag, so over the years, I've always had an issue with storing all of my gear whenever I'd go out. And finally, I got one. This is the Tenba Access V2 32 liter bag. And today I will be talking about what will be going into the bag. I haven't actually figured out how I'm going to organize it yet, so we'll just start filling it up. I had no idea how big this bag was actually going to be, and it comes with so many compartments, which is great. This bag can fit 2 cameras with 7 to 9 lenses, a laptop. It even has a hidden AirTag pocket that I haven't found yet. I love that you have the top and side access for the cameras, so you don't have to take it off completely. I decided to completely wing it in this video and just see how much I could fit in. So let's talk about my cameras. This is the Sony a7 IV, and I've had it for about 6 months now. This has been an amazing addition to my kit, and I've had no issues at all. The only thing that I would say is a slight inconvenience is the 1.5 times crop when shooting at 4K 50. Other than that, I'm loving the colors, the ergonomics, the autofocus system, and the raw files are great to work with. Like, the dynamic range is just amazing. This is the camera that I bought when I sold the D780, and it was definitely worth doing the whole system change with the kind of work that I got into. I also put small rig cages on all of my cameras so that I can rig them up, attach accessories, and generally protect the body. And that is the camera that I'm currently filming on right now. In addition to this camera, I also own the Fujifilm X-H2S. The plan was for the Sony to be used for all of my photography needs and then the Fuji for all of my video work, but I find myself just jumping between each system just depending on what I feel like. I've always had a Fujifilm camera for all of my personal photos and for Instagram. I started with the X-T20 and I just kept upgrading as I went along. I feel like when I purchased my first Fujifilm, 99% of other photographers knew nothing about them, and it was almost laughed at around 2019. Fast forward, with the help of TikTok, almost everyone has heard about the X100V and the XE4. This is my first XH line camera, as all the previous were the XT line, and I love the ergonomics, the menu system, and most importantly, the Fuji color science. I'll go into more depth about this camera in my next video. I've also been tempted to pick up either an FX3 or an A7S III, but honestly, I've had no issues with my current setup, and I just need to use it more. I haven't been able to go traveling or shoot creatively as much as I would have liked lately, as I've been fully focused on studying and my business, where I've been shooting mostly commercial work. But I'm hoping I can take some small trips soon and bring along this new camera bag with me and capture some new scenes. Now onto my lenses. Currently, my most used lens is the Sigma Art 24-70 f2.8 for the Sony E-mount. In the past, I've always preferred prime lenses, but now if I could only have one lens and I wanted to make money from photography and videography, this is the lens that I would go with. The versatility is great, and the quality of images that I get out of this, I'm really happy with. This is currently my go-to lens for 90% of the video work that I do with the Sony. Personally, I haven't compared this lens to the G Master versions, but I think for the price, it's a great investment. If you've got the extra budget, then I would suggest going for the 24-70 G Master Mark II, as it offers slightly better sharpness, less weight. It's a native lens, so the autofocus is also slightly better. In my case, I'm completely happy with the Sigma version anyway, and I don't see myself getting rid of it anytime soon. The next lens is my most used for weddings and beach shoots, and that is the Sony 70-200 f2.8 G Master Mark I. For so long, I debated with myself whether to get the 135mm f1.8 prime or the 70-200. But after testing this lens out, I was really happy with the results. And just look at it. If you have this on your camera, people know you mean business. The compression you get out of this lens is just amazing. Buying this lens was a pretty big deal for me. Firstly, as it was the most expensive lens that I've ever purchased. And I remember when unboxing this, it was a part of a larger unboxing where I had purchased my Mac Studio, the Sony a7 IV, and a few other lenses, as this was when I had sold the Nikon and changed systems completely. It made me reflect on how far I had come in photography. And I was able to acquire all of this new equipment, which really motivated me to do more. Next are my three primes. The Sony 20mm f1.8, which is what I'm currently filming on right now, the Sigma 35mm f1.4, and the Sigma Art 85mm f1.4. The Sony 20mm is the one that I bought to start vlogging and showing myself more on socials. I had a hard time filming with the 35 or even with the 24 and 70 and needed that extra view, and the 20mm achieves that perfectly and offers great separation. The 35mm is my favorite and the one I've used right from the beginning. So any chance that I get, this is going straight onto my camera. I skipped 50mm as I thought it was a boring focal length, so I went straight to the 85mm f1.4, which is an amazing portrait lens. It's so sharp and I find it really hard to take a bad photo with it. Now onto my Fujifilm lenses. For all video work, the Sigma Art 18-35 f1.8 Canon mount is my lens of choice, paired with the Fringer Pro 2 adapter, which allows me to use an EF mount lens on an FX body. This lens is often seen on Blackmagic and Red systems, and it really does not disappoint. Even without being a native mount lens, the autofocus has been reliable and I'm looking forward to creating more content with this lens. A great feature of this lens is that it has a mechanical focus rather than an electronic or focus by wire, which allows for me to manual focus a lot easier. Focus by wire lenses do have better autofocus as there's less resistance with focusing, and the lens can shift focus a lot faster and quieter. The main two lenses that I use for photography with the XH2S is the 23mm f1.4 and the 56mm f1.2. These come out to be 35mm and 85mm equivalent lenses, which I think is sufficient to shoot most styles. Up until now, I was pretty happy with this setup, but then I came across a great deal and I purchased the Fujifilm 16-55 f2.8 lens, which provides a 24 to 82.5mm focal range. I haven't used this yet to shoot, but once I do, that'll be included in the next video. Moving on to other gear. I used to have to carry this extra case around whenever I wanted to take the drone out. So often I just wouldn't have it with me, and I would miss out on so many opportunities to use it. It was always either I'm taking the drone out or I'll be taking the cameras out. So this is the DJI Mini Pro 3, which I purchased with the Fly More kit, so it comes with extra batteries and propellers. And I also got this set of ND polarizing filters from Polar Pro. This was an awesome addition to my kit, as I basically made back what I paid for it within 2 weeks once I got my accreditation license. I use this K&F Concept tripod, which has been pretty solid for me, and I haven't had any issues with this for any of my heavier setups. It's also very lightweight, so it's great for just carrying around with me. They've also released an upgraded version of this that allows you to detach one of the legs and it turns into a monopod. For smaller items, I've got the Freewell All Day Variable ND filter set, which is a set of 2 filters. One is 2 to 5 stops and the other is 6 to 9. I spent months deciding on what ND filter to get, and in the end I decided that I liked the look of the Freewell ones the most. Another great option is the Nissi ND filter set. If you've got multiple lenses, I would suggest purchasing the largest size that you need, which in my case was 82mm, and then just getting a set of step-up rings, which I got mine from K&F Concept as well. I often use a 1/4 black mist filter, which is what I have on right now. This is also from K&F Concept. For audio, I have the Rode Video Micro microphone, which works pretty great, and a set of Rode Wireless Go microphones, as well as some lav mics. I store all of my SD cards in this Pelican case, and I carry around a bunch of Allen keys that I use for my rigs, and a Swiss Army knife for the extra tools that are often useful at shoots. If I'm going out on a video job, I often have the camera already rigged up if I'm shooting handheld, with the V-mount battery, microphone, handles, top handle, and the Ninja V monitor. So I don't pack that into my bag. But if I'm going to be using just the gimbal, which is the RS3 Pro, then I'll store the gimbal either in its case or on the side of the camera bag. Whenever I talk about the equipment that I use or have, I also point out that you don't need all of this. For me, I love the technical side to photography and videography, and I often just reinvest everything back into my business. And it provides me with that little bit of extra motivation to keep going out and shoot something different with this new lens, new filter, new camera body, anything. I've shot alongside other professionals whose camera bags often just consisted of one camera body, 1 or 2 lenses like a 24 and 70 and a 50mm prime, some batteries and spare SD cards. So depending on what you want to do, sometimes it's best to keep things as simple as possible. I love that I now have the ability to take my camera gear around with me, but also I would need to be considerate of what I actually need. Thank you for sticking around. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up and show your support by subscribing to my channel and dropping a comment down below. Until next time. Bye.